AT-AT Commander has been looking for his scarf because he's ready to hit the slopes in today's game, Winter Games. For your Atari 2600, 7800 series, and Sears Telegame video arcade systems. With a white label that represents snow that evidently has been left out in the street and is now a nice slushy gray. Let's go ahead and take Winter Games, pop it in my Atari 7800 system, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the games. Winter Games was published by EPYX and carries a copyright year of 1987. It is based on the 1985 computer game and was programmed by Peter Engelbreit and Steve Baker, who also programmed the 2600 versions of Summer Games and California Games. Winter Games was also one of the few commercially released games on the 2600 with 16K memory, which was 4 to 8 times bigger than your typical Atari 2600 cartridge. This was done to help compete with the NES games, which were very popular at the time of its release. Winter Games is a collection of 7 Winter Olympic style games for 1 to 8 players. If the difficulty switch is in the B position, everyone will take turns sharing one joystick. If the difficulty switch is in the A position, you can use 2 joysticks, and during the speed skating event, you can actually go against another human. When the game begins, each player can select one of 8 countries: the USA, USSR, UK, Japan, Canada, France, Norway, or Sweden. In a standard game, you play through all 7 events in a row with rankings after each of them and a final ranking at the end of the game. You can also use the select switch to select a single event to practice over and over. The first event is the slalom. In this event, you ski downhill trying to go through all 36 gates, moving your joystick to the left or right to steer. If you miss a gate, a 3-second penalty is added to your time. And as you'd expect, there's also obstacles to avoid on your way down. I've never been a big fan of downhill skiing games, and this one is no different. The second event is the bobsled. In this event, you use a joystick to move left or right so you don't lose control around the turns. You can also move the joystick up and down in a rhythmic fashion to speed up your bobsled. In most versions of Winter Games, the bobsled is one of my favorite events, but in this version, it just wasn't nearly as fun as previous versions that I've played. The next event is the ski jump. You press the button to start your skier and the fire button again to launch him, but if you wait too long, he will fall off the ramp. Once he's in the air, you'll see a square with your skier in it. Your goal is to keep him stable in a diagonal position throughout his flight. You can move the joystick to raise his ski tips up or down to drop them. You can also push your joystick left or right for your skier's body position. This is a lot harder than it sounds because your skier is constantly moving while in the air. The next event is the biathlon. You move left or right on the joystick to move your skier. Matching the heartbeat on the screen will help you go faster. When you get to a shooting station, you push down and then up on the joystick to load your gun, and the button to shoot the target. While not as polished as the 7800 version of this event, I still enjoyed the 2600 version of the biathlon. Next up is speed skating. When playing alone, the computer will race against you, but when playing against another person, the left joystick will be the top screen and the right will be the bottom. In this event, all you do is move the joystick left and right to increase your speed, and I didn't find it that much fun. The next event is the hot dog. Just like the ski jump, you press the fire button to start your skier, but you don't need to use it to jump. In this event, you try and do a series of tricks before landing to earn points. You can press up on the joystick to perform a daffy, down for a swan, right for a forward flip, and left for a backward flip. You can also press a button to turn your skier around. Do as many tricks as you can, but your jumper must land facing forward, right side up, or he will crash. The manual also tells you that after you land, you can press the fire button upon passing the yellow flag to get another point for doing a standing daffy. However, I was not able to pull this off. The final event is the luge. It is very similar to the bobsled event, except you do not push up and down to increase your speed, but rather you press a button to brake, as you can build up speed very quickly in this one. However, in the end, it plays like another version of the bobsled. As I mentioned before, when an event is over, the game will rank the competitors. If there's enough competitors, it will award a gold, silver, and bronze medal. The computer awards 5 points for gold, 3 for silver, and 2 for bronze. And at the end of all the events, it adds up the scores and awards a grand champion. Graphically speaking, I thought the game was pretty good overall, although I do think its 2600 siblings, Summer Games and California Games, had better graphics. My favorite part was the stick figure skier, including the zoomed in portion during the ski jump and whenever he fell in the snow. Sound and music wise, you have a nice Olympic theme to start your game and decent sound effects throughout. And yes, this is a family friendly game. At the time I researched, loose copies were selling for $6 to $7, and those prices include the shipping. So what did I think of Winter Games for the 2600? Well, overall I thought it was a solid title. I didn't care much for the speed skating or the slalom events, and the luge and bobsled events were just okay, but I did enjoy the biathlon, ski jump, and hot dog. I'm guessing a lot of gamers will get a chuckle out of the ski jumper falling headfirst into the snow. So where am I going to rank Winter Games? I'll give it an edge over Donkey Kong at 40, but I do like Pac-Man a little more at 39, and yes, I'm one of those guys who can actually enjoy a round of 2600 Pac-Man. So out of the 77 games I've ranked on 2600, Winter Games is luging into the 40 position. And for some reason, I find it fun to say luging. Luging. Winter Games is a mixed bag of events, but still has some entertainment value. If you enjoyed retro-related videos, would you please click like and subscribe? You can also follow me both on the Facebook or the Twitter. I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. You can find more retro podcasts and videos at theretrojunkies.com. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day. I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and go luging.